I didn't know the history of how the Veterans Administration was created. I didn't know that anybody came out with a machine gun and was actually shooting at the veterans. So even disabled people, we need to learn all of our history. And I think a lot of our activism in the Mel Club and as progressives is around homeless issues. And when we take into account that 30% of the population that we're saying, hey, we're progressives, we're going to go out and fight for, is disabled veterans, I think this is a conversation that always needs to occur in the Mel Club at least once a year so that we all know the history, and when we're going and advocating, it's a complete story.
Sean, I forgot to mention one thing. I really want to put this in there. Terrorists are allowed to sue the federal government and federal court. Veterans aren't.
Some of you know me. For those of you who don't, I'm John Martinelli. I've been a member of Axis of Love for 4 or 5 years, and I've known Shauna, the director, for 8 to 10. Been acquainted with her. I'm also a compassionate chef in the medical cannabis community, being people all the way from local benefits that we put on all the way to people with HIV in prison have benefited from my compassionate baking. I'm also baking medical cannabis into brownies is being distributed even to prisoners in prison knowingly. We're not sneaking it in. I'm also in my second year as a member of the Pride Committee, which I enjoy immensely. Being part of Pride is just really great. But it's led to me wanting to do other things in the community. I've helped with 4 supervisor races, 1 Senate race, and various issues, campaigns brought up by the likes of Mr. Daley and Mr. Mercarini and stuff like that. Mental health. For most of the people who have mental health issues, it's a hidden disease. For the people with extreme, it's not hidden at all. They're in hospitals or prisons or on the streets, totally wigged out on whatever medicine that keeps them at whatever. It's sad but true. I was born with my disability. It's called bipolar. They used to say bipolar mania and stuff, but it's really just one thing. But every individual that has the type of mental health disease like this is unique for them. In its degrees, it's varying whether you have depression and or mania, the combination of the two, and how much time, because of physical and mental chemistry, you spend in those states, in and out of those states, and it's also affected by your health, your diet, and your overall environment. It's really confusing being a child that nobody knows that there's something wrong with you, and you don't know that there's something wrong with you because you're a new life in the world, right? But even though you don't know the word disrespect by definition and meaning, you're being shunned by other children as well as the adults that are supposed to be your family and taking care of you, and all you can do is ask as a child in your own mind, even if you can't get the words out, is why me? And I lived with that for 45 years. I didn't get diagnosed until I quit drinking, and the illness the longer I was sober, the illness got worse, which was good though, because I didn't know that I was sick. I did not know that I needed help until I actually said, well, this drinking is no good anymore. I think I'll quit it and stuff. But again, the illness that I was self-medicating with that and other things, including marijuana, came to a head. And luckily, I was here in San Francisco because I went and I asked for help and I got it. But there are a lot of people that are like me that are in danger of falling through the cracks along with the other ones that have fallen through the cracks. If we lose services, we will be losing people to their disease and to the use of of drugs and alcohol because they won't get help any other way if we cut services. And the overall cost to society will be 1,000-fold if we leave persons like me without services and treats. One thing that I can say is I went to, being a person who had a $35 an hour job in Colorado and a nice 2-bedroom home for $500 a month with a veterinarian as a landlord. You can't have it any sweeter than that. But because I was in a mental health disability, I was like in a vacuum. I was living in a nice small town, had a good job, but my life wasn't doing anything but just spinning wheels. I wasn't going anywhere in life. I came here on vacation for family reunion in '98. And I had to come to Golden Gate Park just to, for old time's sake, and hang out with friends. And this feeling just came over me that I was home. And my level of mental illness at that time caused me to call Colorado and tell them, I'm telling the landlord you can have the lease to the house, I'm not coming back, I'll call my job and stuff. And I made myself instantly unemployed and homeless.
Wow.
Just like that, with one thought, I'm home. But you know what? I did it in the place where I needed to be. Because no other place in the world that I know of has the services and the network that people that need help like me and others can get. We've got to fight tooth and nail to keep these services. I told you about the organizations that I'm on. I'm up for a tenant advisory council position with the SHEC for employment services. I'm also organizing within buildings that are managed by Caritas Management and TNDC and others because of the second-class citizen treating us the way they have the leases written up. It's kind of a blanket lease, covers all the SROs. And it's just really, it's hard to explain, but anything that they can do for efficiency of running their management, they don't care if it steps on the rights of the tenants. And only a couple of people's lawsuits have actually won. For some reason, they've got lawyers with, they've got deep pockets, some of these management corporations that are doing nonprofits, and we have to change some of the organizations that are being allowed to run nonprofits, because the case management may be fine downstairs, but the case manager told me in my building that he could not be an advocate for me. All he could do was open books and point me in directions and not really be on my behalf and help me with their ties. Their hands are tied.